Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Happy to hump day. It's Wednesday. The week just flies by. Fun times for all. See what we got going on here. You can see the dollar trying to turn up just a teeny weeny little bit. You see it right there on Chicago Quant Technologies right there. And over on J4X charting from Dukascopy, we see the same situation. Well, not yet, but it's going to get close. Look at this. We already have the green line trying to pierce, and at the same time, it's at the low end of its range at the moment. Well, when I widen it out like that, it doesn't look so close to its low end of the range. But it's it's hanging around down. Let's put it that way. It's down, touching the dotted dashed line of the range itself. So all we need is this thing to start to turn, and as you see on our work, we're starting to do a teeny weeny little turn. So that means in about an hour or so, this should start to do the same thing. It should start to make a move on some level, as long as we are still up. We'll see by the end of the webinar if it starts to change course. What else can we say about that? I don't really say much more. It's just that the dollar is showing a little firmness this morning after 3 days in a sell, and you can see here our work on the Chicago Quant. Again, it's breaking through the zero line. We got a green dot. Yesterday was a volatility signal of a red and a green. So we are very comfortable with the way it's trying to move. We'll see if it does move. At the same time, we're also been in that weekly buy since the beginning of the month of June. So it does show that there is some buyers still out there. And in many ways, you could look at this pattern as a 1, a 2. This might be the 3 in here, like 3, 4. I don't know. I guess it has to be higher. R.N. Elliott said that this has to be greater than. And the fact that it didn't take this out, this might be the 3, and this is the 4. And this could zigzag a little bit, go sideways, not have a lot of clarity, and then the next thing you know, in R.N. Elliott's, what I like to refer to R.N. Elliott's work as a set theory. It reminds me of topological sets, and there's unions, and there's boundaries, and there's clarity of direction due to the mathematics of topology. It's an algebra, a high form of algebra, and it takes numbers and turns them into neighborhoods. So in other words, number 5 means more than just the number 5 of 5 things. It could be, it's like the zero-sum factor being removed. It changes. It could mean 5 million, 5 billion, 5,000, or 5. It can actually go the other way too. 5 could also represent 4 or 3. You ever watch what is it? Alice in Wonderland, which who wrote the writer was a mathematician, and it was one of his side jobs as he wrote stories. So that's the difference there, what we're talking about. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into the math. I've been doing physics all week out of Vienna. That's probably why I'm drifting into into topological mathematics. Sorry about that. All right, let's get back to the reality again here. It happens like that. What do we got here? So what we're seeing here is the dollar is trying to turn, and we'll see if our math, which is based off of that rambling I just gave you, is saying that there is some firmness here at the moment. All right. From there, we'll go over and look at the individual pairs, unless someone wants to see something specific. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at the Swiss franc this morning and see what that's doing. Well, let's take a look at the euro first. There's it at the top of the list. You see the euro is still in a buy, no problem. It's a down candle and so forth. No major shakes there. We got a green dot, and we are above the zero line. Only problem here has been this weekly sell, which started back in the 106 area, and it's fallen down to the 1 evens and a little below it, and now it's gotten up to about 1.2 and change. So it's literally done like the 0.38 almost, or has it done a 0.38 or 0.33? Yeah, it's done something like that. 0.318. That's what it is. So it's actually doing that as we speak. Let's slide that in and look at Mr. and Mrs. Euro. against the dollar. Right there. European Union is the second largest economy in the world. I don't know why they seem to forget about that all the time and try to pretend that they are smaller than China. They are not. They are a $21 trillion economy. As far as I can tell, China to me is something like a $6 or $7 trillion economy or $5 trillion economy. But this is the second largest economy in the world, and this is the second most active currency in the world. So obviously, I get confused when everybody tries to tell me that China is the second one, and China's yuan could be the next world reserve currency when it only trades 2.5% of the day. But I just have to say that because it always confuses me, and I always want the facts to be clear. That is, European Union is the second largest economy in the world. All right, and you can see here it is dipping down a little bit, but our math is not being disturbed, and it's still in a weekly sell. So this is just a dead cat bounce going on at the moment. Again, going out there with Alice in Wonderland, Mr. Carroll, which was his fake name. His real name wasn't wasn't Lewis Carroll. Let's go over to see too much me in Vienna at Strings 2022. My mind is stuck in physics and math. There's Swiss. As you see here, Swiss is trying to perk up a little bit, which is kind of curious. Just the same way we see Euro trying to go down. It is in a sell still. The weekly is very close. It doesn't seem to want to mess with it in any form. It seems to be, hanging right on the edge. Let's see. Yes, indeed. And what else can we say? I guess that's about it. It just shows you that right now, the dollar is just a little bit firmer. That's all. And then we go to the Great British Pound. And that's down a little bit against the dollar also at the same time. Oh yeah, Lewis Carroll's real name was Charles Ludwig Dodgson. Dodgson. He was a mathematician. Just to finish that off so that people realize I wasn't too crazy at the moment. Indeed. Let's see. Cheshire, England. That's where he was from. Let's see. What else can we go into when it comes to these currencies? I guess that's about it. It's kind of moving along fast this morning. No one's asking any questions, so I'm just kind of rambling at the same time. We'll keep on going through all the same products we always go through. And if anybody wants to interrupt and ask me where gold is or wants to know what the Japanese yen and the British pound look like in a pairs trade, just shout it out and we'll go look at it. All right, from there we jump over to the Turkish Lira. I saw that yesterday. It leaped. I can't wait to see what the dollar looks like in that today. I know we made some interesting statements about it yesterday, like it's like a stock indice. Oh, okay, so today, dollar euro is now at 17.60. It must be one big war going on. We went into the daily buy there. It's been climbing up. It's been in the weekly buy since February. I mean, no one, obviously the dollar traders against the Turkish Lira did not believe that anything they did could straighten it out. Whereas when we watch it through the euro against the Turkish Lira, it's a whole different game. And so, it's a product that's probably used like a currency much more than the dollar Turkish Lira is. The dollar Turkish Lira seems to be almost like an index to me, the way it trades in these long, giant trends, without, you got normally a currency trades in and out because, companies need the currency of another country to buy a product. And then they have to buy or sell that currency and their home currency and vice versa. And So it's much more ebb and flow. But an index can get going into a rhythm. It can definitely get into a rhythm in longer trends. And we've seen now over the last 10 years, since former Prime Minister Aragon, now President Aragon, has taken his currency from 1 to 18. So what an inflationary explosion that has been over the last 10 years. Go from 1 to 18. It's very dramatic. But when it comes to the Euro Turkish Lira, as you can see right there, it's nowhere near as volatile. It's tighter because it's being used, as a tool, and that's a big effect, because it is being used as a tool, and because of that alone, what you get is you get the ebb and the flow, up and the down, which is kind of neat, Let's see. Ah, okay. All right. Now, we go over to let's see. Let me just one more thing. Okay, you can see here we went into the weekly sell last week in the Euro Turkish Lira. You can see now it's trying to lift back up again. Let's jump over to that on the chart there. Monsieur Robin, what's happening?
Hey, did this solar storm knock us out here?
Oh, why? You can't hear me? I think I hear me.
I can't even tune in. I can't find it.
Let's see. Let me just double check.
Knock us out here? Oh, why? You can't hear me?
Nah, maybe that's the way with a lot. We're rolling along. Try restarting again, but it could have. Today's another hard day. We're getting more physical from it. It's like the tail end of it. Because it really, yeah, that solar storm was really powerful over the last 3-4 days, and this is the tail end. So it could have an effect.
Okay, now a button just came up, so I should be able to get in.
Yep, exactly.
Is there anyone there?
Yeah.
Oh, here you are. Now I hear you.
And you'll hear yourself. Bye-bye. Yeah, we had a very powerful solar storm over the last 4 days. Probably a good reason why we're seeing all these record temperatures in Europe up in the high latitudes. And we got a blast on Friday and Saturday. Friday it was aimed exactly at Earth. It's not a big solar storm, but we don't always get a CME, which is a corona mass ejection from the sun aimed at Earth itself. Then the next day we had another blast, and this only influenced the solar wind more. It was at that point the sun had turned and the Earth had moved a little bit, and so it didn't hit the Earth this time, or wasn't aimed at the Earth. So we had, remember, it moves at the speed. I know we're getting into a lot of math this morning. I'm apologizing for doing that. Like I said, my head's been in Vienna for the last 3 hours at the string theory conference, the atomic theory conference. And so my head is, the moment I start thinking of anything mathematically, I get run in the mouth. My mouth starts to run even more. But in the end result is that it has influenced the Earth over the last couple of days, since like Sunday. It's had, remember, it happened on Friday. It hits us in about 8.5 minutes, the light of it, but it takes days for it to reach us at a lower velocity. So it's not moving at the speed of light. It's moving, just the flash moves at the speed of light. And so that hits us in 8.5 minutes. We know it happened. And then we have days to watch as it flies in the solar wind towards us. So we had, Robin is now more in tune into solar events because of me rambling about it at times. Anyway, Obviously, the higher latitudes, Robin's in a higher latitude than I am. And obviously, England and so forth, and Wales is in a higher latitude than I am, and it's having more of an effect there. And as I understand, Africa is vice versa at the moment. I understand that the temperatures in Africa are lower than normal. So, that's a lower latitude, and obviously, that blast from the sun, whatever. Anyhow, that's where we're at. Robin can hear us now. So, from there, let's take a look at what was I looking at? I was looking at the Euro Turkish Lira. So, let's go tune that in. There it is right there. You can see it's trying to perk up. And it is making a dash towards that high area there. You can see right there. That's when they came out with the new law that they would give out free puts on anybody or major people who bought currency. So that kind of gave it a real punch, fell down dramatically, like a 50% drop in price. And then you can see now it's been slowly working its way up. And something happened here. Now we have some people that are Turkish, and they do visit the webinar, and they told us that some of the laws were being changed again, making it harder for the dollar to be held. And so we assume that's part of the problem. There's restriction on inside the country itself. Someone yesterday jumped in from Germany and mentioned that they have friends in Turkey, and they're able to take euros and buy gold and bring it back pretty, cheap, much cheaper than buying it outright in Germany itself. So, there's all kinds of things going on in Turkey. When you have 180% inflation, people are selling things to get money. Trying to anything that will give them some stability. All right. From there, we jump over to the Canadian. Right there. There's a CAD. You see the CAD has been moving down for the last couple of days, which is normal for us to believe that we'll put it up on J4X first. That oil should be moving up for the last couple of days, and we'll put up the Brent there. You can see that. There's the Brent. And as you can see, the last couple of days, it's been firm on the charts. It's trying to move up. So when oil is gaining in value, usually the Canadian is gaining in value against the dollar. And that's that combination there. Now we'll take a look at oil itself. The American oil itself. And there is September contract. And you see the same thing going on as you see on Brent. It's been moving up the last couple of days. Went into a buy here on Friday, and it's been firmer since, kind of just sliding around. You can see our weekly is having its issue right there. Let's see if the August contract is still alive. There it is right there. Yep, August contract is still alive and seems to be parked over the 102 area. This one is being going into delivery mode. So today could be the last day of it. I think today could be the last day, or tomorrow's going to be the last day. All right. From there, what we do is we jump over to the South African Rand. And there's the South African Rand. We'll put that up on the screen here for you. And there it is on J4X. It's kind of been in one nice long push. Oh, I didn't do that. Activate it. There it is. It's playing at the high end of the range. You can see it's been sideways here, and that probably means that gold has been sideways. That just like as oil has a good influence on Canadian currency against the dollar, gold tells us, or the South African Rand tells us about gold in the same way. And let's check that out. Right there is gold. And you can see it's been sideways. Can't get its game going. It's not. They're not really buying it. They're not really selling it. It's just kind of cruising along. Take a look at it on J4X right there. Same situation, sideways. It's trying to get into a buy. You can see that. We saw. I think when we come back to the metals complex, we'll show you. Silver went into a daily buy 2 days ago, and yesterday it was firm, and I think today is firm, or yesterday it went. I think it's something like that. We'll check it out in a few minutes. Unless someone wants to see it now. If you want to see it now, just shout it out. We'll put it up there. All right. from there, we go back to the currencies and we go and look at the Japanese yen right there. Trying to turn up. You can see here it's gone down for a day or two here. It's in a sell. I know I put that line in there yesterday. But it's still in that weekly buy, as you can see here. That long weekly buy going on. And you can see here on J4X, same situation. We have the yen kind of just oscillating, I guess you could say. It generated a red yesterday. It's got a green today. We have nothing yesterday, and it's a red today. So, and you can see it's in a sell here from that. The green line is below the dashed line on J4X there. And same situation right here. See the same situation. We are below the zero line. Now the yen has been fascinating. You know, we've been watching. I guess we're like I forget now. We're at 20 some odd year highs. 27 year highs, 28 year highs. And it hasn't really, changed much. It's just been that consistency, which is really cool. You know, I mean, it's nice to see it play like that. The yen. Someone contacted me a couple of days ago and said, "Hey, the carry trade is all messed up now." It's like, yeah, well, I mean, interest rates here in the States are at 3%. Now you would have to say basically it's 1/3% on with the yen trading at 138, 39, that type of thing. So yeah, I'd imagine the carry trade does get beat up from something like that. I'm reading about Lewis Carroll again. As a boy, Carroll excelled in Oxford in mathematics and won many academic prizes. At age 20, he was awarded the studentship, called a scholarship. So, I know that sometimes it sounds like I'm talking Alice in Wonderland here, but in fact, we are very mathematically inclined. And our math is, Chicago Quant Technologies math is about as best as you can find out there when it comes to just, dealing with gauge theory and Riemann and Gauss and so forth. And we use it on the markets. So, that's who we are, Chicago Quant Technologies. And, we work here with Dukascopy, and we have a Dukascopy format up there where you can try to take your Dukascopy chart and incorporate it to act like our math. That's what we try to do. The idea is we're trying to make money and not just talk about markets, but we're trying to find you ways that you can make money. And that's the name of the game. It doesn't cost anything to tune into Dukascopy and see it and use Dukascopy. All right. Let's see. What else can we say about that? Let's jump over to the Mexican peso. We'll go to our southern border, and we'll see what the Chicago Quant chart. There it is, right there. Chicago Quant charts do. There it is. You can. Oh no, I didn't mean to move that. Let's put that back in. There we are. Well, we have it Fibonacci at the same time. We have a range that we help to define through our math, and you can see it plays the Fibonacci to it pretty well, which is fascinating. This was interesting here. It dropped underneath there a little bit, but came back up to the 50 percentile, bounced off of it this time, 50 percentile, up to the 0.773 math, or 772, I guess, 0.723, whatever, and stalled out. And that's the top end of the range now. And so, for the peso, it just seems to be trapped in here. It's been in a sell with this move here, but it wasn't much of a sell down. But again, you wouldn't want to take it since we've been in a weekly buy here throughout this stuff here. You can see it in our math on the weekly chart. So we kind of think that it wants to bounce up, not down. And that's the name of the game right there. All right. So that pretty much completes our adventure in the currencies. Um, but we're always willing to go back to the currencies if anybody wants to see anything. So, you want to see something, just shout it out. We'll take a look at it. You never know where another good trade could come from. It's a big market, a very large market. And even as much as our Chicago Quant Technologies charts give us great insight, and the Dukascopy chart gives us great insight right here, the problem is that we can't see the whole market all the time because we're doing so many different things. So we just look at a select group, and we don't go out there and say, okay, who's the most active today? Let's go look at them. We're hoping that you out there in the what I call the cyber trading pit here, hope that you will say, hey, I'm watching this particular product. Let's see what that's doing in your math. We have people that say, hey, can I see the 5-minute instead of just looking at the daily? And I say, sure. Or the 15-minute or the 2-hour. And we get a better insight on what's going on. All right. Let's jump over to that metals complex and see what else is going on. We'll go right to the silver. You can see the gold there. Still been in a sell since back in here. Since June 13th, we've been in a daily sell. We've been in a weekly sell since the week of the 618. 618 is it? 620. 624. Since the week of 624, where it was as high as $1,850, and we've been in a weekly sell where it has gone down over $150 since then. Dropped to a low on 7/14 to $1,695. So it's been a really interesting winner chicken dinner. And that's the whole key here. That's our whole objective of Chicago Quant and the Dukascopy webinars, is to give you some opportunity to be able to have a better insight than most, understanding where markets are going and what their trends are. Remember, trends are your friend, and you want to try to trade in the trend that's the more predominant, be it up or down or neutral. There's the 3 directions. All right, from there we'll take a look at Silverado, and there's the silver. Yeah, silver is the second day in a buy. Boy, it's tightened up too. Look at that. I had to check that this morning to make sure it was legit still. It has. It's tried to get into the buy on Monday, and it's been sideways since, but it's went into the buy. Problem is we are in that weekly sell since the 21.5 area. So it has fallen as low as on the 14th down to 18.01. Basically hit 18. We've been in a sell for almost $4 in the silver. And that's what's so cool, is that, here you tune into this webinar, you get an opportunity to see, a very clear and understanding of the trend. And that's the whole key right there. And that's what we try to do, is give you that. That's something very positive and very helpful to all. The idea is to make money out of this stuff. I'm sitting there doing Vienna and the string theory, and I'm watching the math, and I'm shaking my head, and I'm disagreeing with a third of it, if not half of it, and I'm thinking to myself, if they had to do what I'd have to do with my math every day, take my atomic theory math and make it work in real world every day, would they sing a different tune? If they had to take their math and make it work in everyday life, physically, live, live or die by its accuracy or its failure, instead of running models and this high performance mathematical concepts, and in the end result it's just I'm really thinking about making a t-shirt that says math has gone wild. I think I was mentioning it to you yesterday. I didn't elaborate. Math gone wild. Just like when the down in New Orleans every year around Easter, in the United States they have these big celebrations for Fat Tuesday and Good Friday and all this other stuff, and they have these parades and everybody's drinking and partying, and they give out beads, and people lift up their tops and show their chests, and they call it "Girls Have Gone Wild." And I'm thinking, if these mathematicians had to do what I do every day to actually make a real meaningful proof of, like when I say the euro is going in one direction, and it does, and we show you the live proof every day of the fact of this, and can you imagine if we made our mathematicians at these universities have to do real time that melted in with the theoretical? I can make my math melt in with. That's why I disagree with like over half of what they're talking about, because my math says no, they're wrong. And and I sit there and I think, here we are challenging reality all the time, the consciousness of the markets, the consciousness of atomic theory, the stars, the moons, the solar systems, the galaxies, and it all works together. And I always say that, you take a, we're going to give you a good example of it. I know I'm drifting here because no one's asking any questions, but here's the S&P 500, and here is our math, okay, and it goes into the buy here, right there. And what does it do? It finds a way to go up until our math tells it it's going to go down. And there's the sell for the math. And then what does it do? It goes down until our math tells you it's going to go into the buy again. And it goes into the buy here. And you can see the math has warned you that it's trying to turn up. And it goes into buy right there. And look at it. It goes up in value. And then it breaks down in value right there. And you can see it goes down in value. Now this is a intraday chart of 783 contracts, or it's a type of mathematics that I use that defines time differently. And they have a name for it. And I'm trying to think of the name because I disagree with it. I disagree with the name. It's a formal math, they call it. A formal math. And I disagree with the way they do it because they do it as a sample. And I actually have a proof, a mathematical proof for my time, not a statistical bell curve average, but an actual proof. And you can see here, we go into the cell there, and the product finds a way to go down while we're in that cell. Could you imagine if we took all these PhDs sitting in this conference in Vienna right now doing string theory and trying to do real mathematics, like highbrow, deep thinking math, and we made them come here to Dukascopy and try to predict the direction of a market. And all I'm thinking when I'm watching, as I'm zooming into Vienna right now, and let me just show you what we're mumbling about here. So, it's just, basically, I just look at it and I just shake my head. And they have Schrodinger's picture. There it is on one of them. There it is right there. Let's just move that over for a moment. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that's it right there. And they have Schrodinger and strings and Vienna, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, if these boys had to do and girls had to do the work that I do every day, their brains would explode, That's what and so I'm a little bit more mathy this morning. Matter of fact, Robin had to call me. I was so proud of myself this morning. I thought I had finished off all my work because I'd done 3 hours of string theory, and I forgot to do all the Chicago quant math for the day. And I'm out there working on my plants now, and I'm so excited, thinking that I've succeeded for the day. I'm brilliant, And just as when you get too big in your britches, as I say, you get knocked down. Robin calls me and says, "Hey, where's the Chicago quant charts?" It's like, oh no, I forgot all about that. I had to run back up into the office and take care of that. So my brain is way out there in math world. Me and Lewis Carroll, we're out there flying around in Alice in Wonderland. All right, so there it is. There's an intraday battle. And what I'm making the point of, this is what the point of this whole conversation is right now. And that is that if you're working on an intraday tool to trade on, you definitely want to, and I think I probably was on this kick yesterday too, and I didn't realize why. And today I realize it's because 3 days of doing high performance mathematics has my brain running in different directions. And so, and here we are. I'm looking at my charts, and it's all high performance. You're looking at string theory mathematics right there. That's what you're looking at. And I've taken it and I've refined it, and it's working on the 2-minute chart or the 10-minute chart, or in this case here, formal time, a formula of time itself, not conventional, what I like to call Newtonian time, basic time on Earth. I'm using a whole different form of time, and and only one presenter so far has drifted into that. Out of dozens and dozens of physicists, only one physicist has done that. They went into formula time on Monday. Just one out of all of them. Just one did. They went and just played with a little time, time and space thing like I do. And I'm thinking, here we are today, and I'm really jazzed up on the math. I'm taking it in intravenously. I have a needle in my arm, and I'm pumping math into my arm as we speak. And and here we are watching it live, hot and heavy, actual functioning correct. And that's where we're at. So sorry if I drift a little too crazy here, but once in a while once a year I get so jazzed up about the math when I'm doing my physics for the week. We have a string conference every year, and this year I'm not in Vienna. I am in the United States, and I'm just zooming into it and watching them through the the basics. What we got here? So we're looking at silver. Silver is just, look at that. It's perking up a little bit more now. We're getting a little bit more life in it. It's interesting. We have plenty of people who watch the webinars here and are saying, like, are we going to get some action in these metals? We're dollar cost averaging in, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, it should. I mean, we got 8%, 9%, 10% inflation. We have interest rates relatively cheap. I mean, is it a little expensive at the moment, being at 3%, of course. But you would think that the metals complex would find a way to get turned back up, So, all right, that's silver. Let's take a look at copper. Let's see, right there. Did I show you? I didn't show you silver on J4X. There's silver right there. Same thing. You see the green hanky askies for the last 3 days turned up just the same way we are right here, turned up on our Chicago Quant Technologies chart. So we're seeing the same action there. You can see the green line above the dashed line. So you're seeing that strength. All right, now from there's copper. September copper doing the same thing. We're seeing some strength again, which is fascinating because we went into that weekly sell in the low $4 area, and we fell down to almost the $3 area. Where's the low there? Right there on the 15th, the day after the low in silver and gold. We got down to 316, dropped 85 cents in the weekly sell. That's pretty cool. And again, we emphasize, and I know that I'm beating a dead horse, but the idea is to give you a tool that you can make money with. The idea is not to just sit here and talk and not have any true facts and proof of success. And there it is, live every day. And then we can get as nuts as possible. Intraday live. There was a time when I did dukoscopy, I used to have a camera on our intraday Euro chart. So you could actually try to trade the market live on the Euro with our mathematics. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right, from there, let's see, what is that? What did I just turn into? Oh, actually, that's the intraday, yeah. Let's go over and check out, today's Wednesday. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at platinum. Last I looked, it looked pretty firm. It is truly the canary in the coal mine. It's just trading $1,000 cheaper, if not more. And there it is right there. October platinum. You can see it. The weekly is trying to turn up. We got the echo of our white histogram and our green line. That's what the blue dash is. It's an echo. And it's showing us that right now it's trying to lift up. And as you can see here on the daily situation, we went into a daily buy here, and it ran up, and it fell back down. Went into a sell right there. Ran back up again right there. Went into a buy. Actually, went into the buy right there, and climbed higher. So you can see that the overall intraday has been very firm. It's trying to put that reverse head and shoulders in when it comes to the metals complex. All right, and then from there, let's jump back over to, let's see, that's, oh, okay, I know what that is. That's the end of all the metal conversation. That's right. Now, if anybody has a question about any of them, please ask. If not, don't worry. It's a Wednesday. You have Thursday and Friday. All right. From there, we're going to jump over to the energy sector. Let's see what's going on in the energy sector. Let's go to. Let's start off with J4X and put up Brent. There's Brent, and you see the strength that's been going on, and you can see this green line lifting up, heading towards the top end of the range, the whole bit. And then we slide over to the front month as far as I'm concerned, and that is September. It's just bouncing around the $100 area. And you can see the weekly is trying to turn up. It's going to have to do some work. It's got to get through that zero line to get back into the weekly buy. As we can scrunch up, you can see we have been, when it comes to oil, and we're going to make this a little bit clearer right there. You can see we've been in a weekly buy since the end of December in the 60s, in the 70s. And it's doubled in price. At one point, it doubled in price in that. No, it didn't. It didn't double in price in that. Got up to $107. So it made, what's that, from 65 to 105. It was like a little better than 45% increase, 47% increase. Almost a 50% increase, which was pretty impressive. And then went into a sell here, went right back into a weekly buy the following week in the 80s, no, in the low 90s. And it went up to 116. And then from there, it backed off, and we went into a sell again. And that's where we've been since. Since it was in the 110, 111 area, we've fallen as low as $88. So our weekly trends have been very long and very consistent, very interesting. And that is oil in the front month of September. Now, the actual one that's getting expiring over the next 24 hours is this August contract right there. And you can see that the contract is hanging around the 102 area, 102.70, that type of thing. All right, from there, we take a look all the way out to the back month of November. And there's November. And you can see it's trading in the $93 area. So they call that a contango. It's discounted. So they're not worried too much. They think that the price is going to stay in this area because it's below the spot price of the 102 and change. And the September contract is considered spot also at this point, the $100 area. So they're discounting it by about $7. Now, over here, let's see, what else we got? So then from oil, we go to natural gas. You can see natural gas has been perking its head up, but it's been in the sell since this area here, the $8 area, and it fell all the way down to the $5.35 area. It's still in that weekly sell. Put it up on J4X there. Did I miss it? Where did I miss it? There it is. Nat gas. American natural gas. So as you can see, it's $7.40 there on Dukascopy. Same thing here on Chicago Quant Technologies chart. Easily right there. And then from there, let's see. So nat gas is $7.44. And it's still in that weekly sell. So this is more of a dead cat bounce. But you can see the daily buy jumped in and made sure that you weren't short for it. Then one day a sell. Next day closes back in a buy. That's just a teeny weeny little loss compared to having this nice big victorious win down, And so then from there, we go into buy again. It's been in a buy since there. It's been riding up. Now we're starting to flirt. If we go into a daily sell, let's see if this one can, feel more pressure on the downside. Over on J4X, we have an opportunity to see what the price looks like in Europe in euros. So let's tune that in. Right there. Trading at 28.29. 28 euro 0.29. So almost $28. So ours is $7. That's at 28. That's 4 times more in price. Someone needs to start digging for more natural gas. Let's put it that way. In Europe. Then let's see. What else can we say? I guess that's about it when it comes to the natural gases. So we looked at crude oil. We've looked at Brent. We've looked at both prices of natural gas in the U.S. and prices in Europe. Now from there, what we normally do is we go over to stock indices. And that's what we'll do. And I use that as a good example. We've been in a weekly buy for a full week now. And the product has gone from 3,800 to basically 3,900. 3,900 to, I guess it's 3,800. And it's up to 3,964. So the S&Ps have moved up a decent price. What is that? The close on Friday was 3,866, and our high is 64. Did I say 66? Yeah. So it's gone up 100 points in that 1 week alone, right there, in our buy signal. And again, I wish these mathematicians in Vienna had to deal with everyday life. It would be a lot better for them to do their math than this and model that. Then, at the same time, we go over to the NQs, the Tech 100. Oh, let's put the S&Ps up real quick on J4X right there. You can see green bars for 4 days. Line is crossed over. Doing well. And then let's look at the Tech 100, the Nasdaq 100. Same situation. 4 bars, green, white line, the green line across the dashed line right there. Same situation here. You can see we're in that buy. And at the same time, the weekly is very clean and clear. And then let's, just for fun, since we have it and I can beat my chest, let's go take a look at the intraday. You can see how it's a little bit more choppier. There was a sell there. There's your buy. You can see there's your buy there. It was a very small win. There's your sell. It's a small win. There's your buy right there. It's a better win. There's your sell. It's a better win. Notice we're not giving you losses. There's no losses to be had at the moment. There's a buy right there. There's a nice little win. There's your sell. That's a nice little win. There's your buy. Nice little win. There's your sell. Small little win. Now it's getting tight. Look how tight that is. Manifolds are getting tighter and tighter. The action is slowing down because the U.S. market opens up in about 8.5 minutes, 9 minutes. And so you can see here it's getting so tight. We watch that manifold. For the wider it is, it's always much more fun to trade, You can see what happens when you get the manifold really tight right there. See how it went into a sell and it was a big move. In this case here, it keeps on getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And it needs to move out of it to start giving it room to breathe again. That was the European Open right there. Goes into a sell, nice win. Goes into a buy, nice win. Small little win there. That's where it finally tops out at a win. Let's see what else we got going on there. See this right here? The bar is minus, so that's not a buy. There's the buy. You see it finds its way to climb all the way up to there. Just like that's not a sell because the bar is plus. And that's where we are. We try to emphasize the success rate that we have, which is very high. Robin and I almost have 100 years of trading experience. We're traders from the floor. We're old retired men. That's what we do, and this is one of our hobbies, is to go and talk about real markets with real people and answer questions and give a better idea about what the markets really do. Probably why Dukascopy likes to keep us around is because we talk real, and we use Dukascopy tools. We show you how to take the Dukascopy chart and blend it in with the way we use our math, and that's what we do. All right, from there, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I'm going to throw it right there, and we're going to go to the daily first, and there is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You see, same situation. It climbed into the buy right there. That was really interesting. It was in a daily buy from back there and refused to go into a sell. And when that weekly kicked out, right there, the Dow was trading at 30,613. Right now, as you can see, 30,016 right there. You can see right there that the product is trading at 31,770 something. Let's just say that 31,800 total, because there's the high today of 31,000. Actually, the high is 31,980. Yeah. And we went into a buy at 30,600. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average is going up 1,300 points with our signal. 1,300 points. Like I said, I would love those mathematicians in Vienna right now to come down here and fight algo wars with me. Come up and use your math and challenge my math. Be my guest. All right. Any Dukascopy fans, go into Vienna. Go to the university. Go muscle on them for me, will you? All right. Say, show me your work in real time. That's what you say to them. Show me your work in real time now, not in some extrapolation of math. Let's see how real it is. All right. From there, we'll go to the intraday. And there's cable. You see it went into the sell there. Went into the buy there. Not too excited, but it was a small win. Tried to get into a sell there. Was it there? Yeah. Went into the sell there. We had a volatility signal at the same time. And we got into the buy there. Nothing too exciting. Another sell. The sells have been better. I guess that's because we took off the top, And then there's your buy again. It's still in the buy. It's still in the buy now. It's still climbing. And we're not far now. The U.S. markets open up in under 5 minutes. So that's the action there. All right. What should we call today? I guess we should call this something. We have to come up with a name. How about, let's see. I want to go see what I said yesterday. Because I remember saying something about intraday. It might have been silver I labeled this yesterday. That could have been it. Let me just take a look. I really do think we used the title of silver yesterday. Because silver went into the daily buy, and then but it's in a weekly sell, so you don't really want to take the trade. You got to get those two things moving together, unless you're going to use binaries or derivatives or something like that. Derivative options, that is. All right, yesterday's title was. Let's see what yesterday's title was. Intraday yen silver trying to jump. That's what yesterday's title was. So today we're going to title intraday. And I think what we want to do is we want to emphasize the fact that if you're doing intraday trading, there it is. you have to make your tools, and we're just going to call it intraday trading tools. And what we emphasize always is that if you can match up a daily and a weekly and even a monthly tool, it should work when you're doing an intraday tool. And if it doesn't, it's not a good tool. I know that it might look good. Like right now, one of the greatest mathematicians in history is making that case. They made it on Monday morning. Ed Witten made that case of there's an algebra 2, and then there's an algebra 3, and depending on how you measure atomic particles and strings, it depends if you're using algebra 1, 2, or 3, and so forth and so on. But I disagree with that. I think a math should work in the minute, it should work in the large, it should work in the small, and it should work in the real. It should work in every direction. And when it doesn't, I think you're just basically painting by numbers, like you do in those things there. So I think that's what it really comes down to. Intraday trading tools. There we go. Giannis is saying your Shown's still alive. Oh, shoot. Let me go. All right, traders. Happy trails. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow. Same time, same travel. Happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Thursday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Thank you, Giannis. Thank you, Dukascopy, for giving us the opportunity to talk about real trading all the time.